Okay, so I welcome you all to one nice video tutorials on Microsoft Word. So Microsoft Word basically comes from the it's also a feature or a software in the Microsoft Office. Before you can have access to Microsoft Word, you need to install Microsoft Office. And the version we are using this is Microsoft 2016. So Microsoft Office 2016. So this is Microsoft Word 2016 package. So when you open Microsoft Office for the first time, we have this interface where we have our templates and then we have our blank document. Now, since we are creating a new document, we have to click on blank document for it to open the Microsoft Word interface. So this white area that you're seeing, this is where we key in or type our information or our characters. Then we have these tabs that you're seeing up here: the file, the home, the insert, the design, the layout, references, mailings up to the view. They are called the tabs, right? TABS. We call them the tabs. And then under each tab, we have what we call the group. So you could see we are currently under the home tab. Under the home tab, we have the first group, which is a clipboard. Inside the group, that is where we have what you call ribbons, right? So the ribbons are a series of commands here. So we have the paste under the clipboard group. You have the cut, we have the copy format painter. Then you could see a demarcation, a line drawn here, letting you know that we have another group. So this simply means the end of the group. That is where the line is indicated. We have the next group called the fonts group. And then the ribbons in there, we have the fonts, the font sizes, the font styles, bold, italic, underline. We have the strike through, the subscript, superscript, the highlighter, the font color, the keys, change keys. These are all ribbons under the font group. Then we have the paragraph group where we have the alignment, the bulletin. We have the styles group. Then we have the editing group. Then you could see down here you could see a bar, right? If you are using 2013, it's mostly a blue bar or a blue line over there. This is what we call the status bar, where we have the page number, the number of words you've entered, then the section numbers. We have all those informations over there. Then we have the views on our right side. We have the read mode, the print layout, we have the web layout. Basically, Microsoft Word is having five: the draft and then the outline, which is attached to this. Then we have the zoom slide, where you want to zoom in and out. We have the zoom slide over here. Then you could see up here, right up here, you could see ribbons indicated there with one drop down arrow there. This is what we call the quick access toolbar, right? Up here, this is where we have the quick access toolbar. This is where you find the undo, the redo, the save. They are all over there. Then we have here the title bar. This indicates the name of the document you've opened. So when you save it, by default we haven't saved. So this is document one by default. But when you save, it will give you the name of the Microsoft Word file. Then we have the ribbon display option. So this ribbon indicates when you click on it, this is if you want to hide the ribbons or if you want to activate them. Then we have our minimize, we have the restore or maximize, then we have our close buttons. These are all here. So this is basically the intro of Microsoft Word. Now we are going to start with something. We are going to key in one or two characters at this working area, the workspace here. Then we will try using some of the ribbons, right? We will see how we change fonts, how we change font sizes, how we apply bold, italic, the underline, the strike through, the subscript, superscript. You have to learn all these things. So here I will start with the topic. I will activate my caps lock. Then I'll type say myself like this. Then I come to the next line. The next line, I'll deactivate my caps lock. We'll say caps lock. Caps lock means uppercase. So my name is Nana Kwame, like this. I am 20 years old. I am a Ghanaian. I speak Twi and English. So we have something short here. So that's what we are going to do. Now we are going to start applying the fonts, the font sizes, and the rest. So in this episode, what we are going to do is we are going to look at how to change um, the fonts, how to change font size, how to apply the font styles. We are going to look at them. So here, this is myself here. First of all, we want to change the font by default. The default font and then font size in Microsoft Word is Calibri body, and then the size is 11, right? So let's say we want to change the font size or the font and then the font size for myself, which is the topic here. First of all, you have to drag across to highlight like this. So when you highlight it, you see by default it will just the another option will pop up here where you have to select, right? Where you have to select the fonts. But let's move from here. So here we are under the home tab inside the group that we call the fonts group. So here where we have the Calibri, we will click on the drop down. Now when you click on this drop down, it will give you a list of fonts available in Microsoft Word. So the one that we want to use for myself, we have Cambria, we have Times New Roman, and others, right? So when we click on the drop down, we have a list of fonts. So let's choose Cambria for this. So immediately we choose Cambria, you could see the effect here, right? Let's try to change from the Cambria to something like imprint empty shadow, right? So you see it will change. Let's say you are searching for a font, right? Maybe you don't know the name, but you want to search for the font. Quickly, if you want to search for the font, you can quickly enter here and then type the name of the font and it will display. So you can type something like Arial Black. So if it is Arial Black you're looking for, you can just type Arial Black like this and then hit enter, and then you could see the effect on it. So once we've chosen Arial Black, now don't forget that you need to highlight before you perform or you choose the font or the effects on the specific character, because if you don't highlight it will not be done. So the font too, if you want to increase the font size, we can click on the drop down here. Let's say we want to use size 14, so I'll click, you see it has changed from 11 to 14. Now let's change the fonts. I don't like the Arial Black, so let's change back to Cambria. Right, good. Now, so my font is Cambria. Now, over here, you could see bold, italic, and underline. We call them the font styles, right? So, the shortcut for the bold is Control B, Control key, and letter B. The shortcut for the italic is Control I. The shortcut for the underline is Control U. So, still, you can see that myself is highlighted. So, I want to apply bold on myself. So if I'm not using the shortcut, I can quickly move my cursor and then click on it, and then you could see it has deepened the text. If I want to deactivate, I can just click back on the B like this, and then it will deactivate it. But let's activate, I'll click like this, and it's done. Then we have the italic when I click on the italic, it will slant the text a little. So you could see that style over there. So let's click back to the activate and then we have our normal text. Then the next one, we have the underline. So underline, when you click on this drop down, it will give you a whole list of varieties for the underline. So depending on the one you wish to apply, you can easily click and then select. So I want to use the thick line, which is this. When I click, you can see the underline there. Again, you can change the underline color. If you want to change, by default, it's always black. Black, it's also known as automatic. So if you want to change, you can just click on the drop down here and then you move your cursor to the underline color, you click on it, then you locate the kind of color that you wish to apply. So if it is this green, this green color that you wish to apply, you can just click on it, and then you could see that you've applied the changes over there, right? So that is all for this episode. In our next episode, we are going to look at the rest, how to change font colors, highlights, alignments, and others. All right.